Just roll the dice, take the leap. Trust in your luck and you'll see.
There's magic and wonder if you just follow me. Unlock this door with your key. Imagination works best when
It's set free. Just roll the dice and trust in your strength and follow me. There's mysteries to solve,
and secrets to find,
Yetis to fix.
thunderous caves to be mined.
When you need to defend,
You'll be joined by new friends.
the adventure begins now. Who knows where it is?
Get out your pins, magic bends, bags, and flashlights.
Let's start tonight's story off right. It's a new world plus.
While we wait for a bus,
The adventure begins now. Just follow us. Just roll the dice and follow us.
welcome to WDWNT The RPG Season 1 Recap. Hi, Alicia. Hi, Wolf. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Hey, this
Oh,
is
good.
doing it again.
That's
Take two.
That's fantastic. Isn't it great to hear a theme song? Well, we are here to talk about everything that happened in the first season, we're going to call it, of WDWNT The RPG. Obviously, it took place over multiple years, so not really a season, but it was one sort of complete storyline. So I like to call it a season, like you're watching a TV show. Right off the bat, let's just talk really quick about that intro, which was a piece of just free YouTube music that was composed by a guy named Aaron Kenny. A lot of his music is the background music that we do in this show, and I loved that score. In the first episode, it had no lyrics, and then I wrote these lyrics, and I said, hey, Jilly from Geekly Kingdom, you have a beautiful voice. Can you and I record like a duet of sorts? And so I just gave her the song with me singing it and the lyrics, and she figured it out, and we harmonized. And yeah, if you go to wwnt.com/RPG, you could download that entire full song for free, including the end credits song that we used in the Endgame episode. But yeah,
It is, as the kids call, a banger. It's good.
It's a
Honestly, I can't
I'm
wait
actually
until
rewriting-
we all like get together and we can really just sing it out loud. Like what?
Oh man. If we
For a
could do like
while,
a
I'm-
live RPG show and we just all
Right?
did it
Yeah.
together.
I'm aiming
Oh,
for.
that'd be so fun. That'd be fun.
that's what I'm aiming for.
That'd
Well,
be great.
let's talk about the plot. So this began with what we called Season 0, and it was just like episodes we did on a marathon show. We did in like a day or two before we had to fill like 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. on the marathon show. We were like, I said to Ben, I'm like, hey, you know that RPG thing we were throwing around? Do you want to like try that during the marathon show? So Ben and I just in like a day wrote 2 complete adventures, which was a Jungle Cruise and a Haunted Mansion one. And we said, all right, team, what do you want to pick, this one or this one? I don't think we had character sheets. I think it was just a spur of the moment, like just pick
No.
a character.
It was
and,
after that I think we made the character sheets and like went with like actual rules and stuff. I think the first time we just like we just played.
Yeah.
We had dice and we rolled dice and yeah.
Yeah, it was just more like, let's use 1d20 and you'll use that for everything.
Yep. Don't mind. me.
You're already in a meeting. Now you have to answer it on air. I'm just
We're
kidding.
good.
Please don't do that.
Everything's fine.
So the Adventureland one. So we just I sort of wrote these with Ben, and then Ben later, as the DM, was like, "Oh, by the way, Robo Chapek is going and destroying all the attractions," and I'm like, "Oh, I guess we're going with that plot." So for the Haunted Mansion one, it was everyone was their characters, and it was just discover the mystery of the hauntings inside the mansion and find a way to end them. Sorry, someone just asked, I'm new to this. What is RPG an acronym for? RPG stands for role-playing game. It's very similar to D&D. It's you get into a character and you role-play what it would be like if you were in these circumstances solving these puzzles and everything. And we'll talk about the title in a minute, because right off the top of our heads, we were like, there's always a joke like WDWNT the cup, WDWNT the game, like Spaceballs the merchandise. Yeah. So we were just like WDWNT the RPG, and it kind of had a ring to it. There was going to be a different title, but we'll talk about that after. So yeah, I was just get into the mansion, and there's a bunch of weird stuff that happened. Something they never did in the original Haunted Mansion one was they never went to the basement. Otherwise, they would have encountered Captain Gore, which is what we did for the later episode. So I actually went back and I'm like, could we... They never did this. Could we do a second Haunted Mansion episode? And then just be like, this is non-canonical? So, or no, the original ones were non-canonical. And then, at the end, Pete's character revealed that he was married to Constance, and she's his ex-wife.
It was bonkers when we found that out. He was just like, oh no, it's Constance. And we were like, what? And he was like, that's my ex-wife. And everyone just looked at each other and we were like, what? When did this happen?
It just became canon. It just became canon. The other thing was, because I had written this adventure, I had to pretend like I was experiencing everything for the first time and not lead everyone on. But anyways, we then the next night we did the Jungle Cruise one, and I said to Ben, I don't know if I want to be a player. I'd rather just be all the characters. So he DM'd, and then I was talking for the characters. And this plot was that there was something happening in the temple part of Jungle Cruise. So they needed to find a boat and a captain. And I had presented 3 captains. Skipper Lucy, who was just inept and had an Australian accent. Skipper Pat, who was just like Pete's uncle, basically, if this guy was just completely drunk. And then there was Skipper Snooty, who was like if Draco Malfoy became a skipper, which is what I wrote on this. I'm reading through our guide, that the DM guide that I wrote. And then I think they were like, I think all 3 of you need to sing together in harmony, and then we'll pick the best one. And I'm like, if I had prepared that, I genuinely could have prepared a sea shanty with 3 different harmonies. But yeah, then Skipper Snooty is evil. They also never went on land, so they never met Skipper D and Skipper Dumb. So that was another thing that I just reused later on. Like all these old encounters they never had, I was like, this could just be part of a new story. And then the last episode of season 0 was Tom Corliss wanted to test the RPG on News Tonight, because that was like the big audience at the time. So the story was the case of the missing Buzzy, because this was right around the time that guy stole Buzzy. So I was like, let's make you all detectives, and you're solving a disappearance. So you had to investigate something. So I had written a mystery. There was somebody who stole Buzzy, and there were clues, and you need to go around and talk to characters and stuff. So it was set at the Wonders of Life. You could talk to Captain Braddock from Body Wars. Whiny Jacques, the talking wine bottle, was in the wine store. Turned out Buzzy was in was shrunk down by the Body Wars shrinker and was put into a bottle of wine, and Pete, not knowing this, drank him. And I remember when he said he was going to drink it, I'm like, are you sure? We had actually tested that with, I think, Alicia and
Ashley. It was Ashley. Yeah.
I wanted to make sure the story worked, so we did a round, and I don't know if I still have that saved on my computer, but it's still just as funny.
Cute.
But yeah, it was great. That one was really funny, just because at the end they were like, we put Buzzy in, I shrunk a Buzzy and put it in this bottle of wine, and Pete went, oh no. it was such a great moment. That episode is still around. I just don't know which episode number it was.
I thought it was really funny that Tom wanted to do it on News Tonight because he's not someone that, like, Nick had played. If he hadn't played the RPG before, he definitely had later on, obviously.
Yeah.
And we know that Pete had, but like I had never pictured Tom playing like a role playing game. So then when he was like, "Yeah, let's do this on News Tonight," I was like, "I am interested in watching this unfold."
What we gave them characters because they didn't have time to like make characters, so we invented characters. I think we gave, because Tom wears Hawaiian shirts, we called his character like Joe Hawaii or something like that. Or Joe Aloha.
Wasn't there someone who was like Cal Torless? Am I making this up? That was a character at some point, right?
That was in episode 1. His name was Com Torless. It was just a spoonerism of Tom Torless, which is one of my favorite jokes to do. We just did that food blog video, and I'm like, what would WDWNT's food blog be called? And I'm like, Bood Flog? So I just changed those letters. I love doing that. Thank you, Sean Force, for the super chat of $2. Thank you so much for that.
That's awesome. Thank you.
What else happens? So yeah, then we get to episode 1. And at this point, I had made the character sheets, and I knew this was going to be a big thing. And I was like, what is the story of this? And I thought, I knew ahead of time the story was going to be that there was a computer called Chapek. It was not Robo Chapek, but it was going to be a computer of Chapek. And at the end, they would have to decide if they were going to destroy it or not. And I wanted it to be like, because everyone's so, there's this mentality of like the park, like Walt said, the park shouldn't be a museum, but every time something new happens, people are upset. Thank you so much, BC Fans 772 for that super chat as well. Thanks for all the great content. You're welcome. And there will be plenty more stuff in the future. Yeah, so I wanted to tell this story about like, is like that change is okay, and even if it's not like a new thing, or even if it's not something that's good, at least it's something new. Like I wanted to get that point across, and so I was trying to tell that story through all of these episodes, that like, yeah, something may be trying to go away, but it's not as simple as just like black and white. Like there might be that moral gray area in the middle. And I knew what that ending speech was going to be when Chapek bought the Chapek computer's like, I'm just running on an algorithm. I'm not your enemy. And so I was trying to set that up the entire time, that there was always more than one, like an A or B choice. There would be multiple things you could do in between. The Tomorrowland one, I think, really set that up, that like Karis was not the villain of that episode, and that there was maybe something else happening, like the different morality of like very Star Trek-y. Anyways, episode 1, you guys are trying to get into s.e.a. In the previous one, Ben had set up that Merlin left you all magic bands, and but they were like in his cloak or like in his pants, so that Merlin was now running around without his pants on. But no one understood that. Everyone kept saying during the episode, we're looking for some guy without pants. And I'm like, Pete, you know it was Merlin, right? Like, Pete would always just say, we're looking for the guy without pants. And it's like, it's Merlin. Did you not remember? That's just the running gag, though, of like, I present everyone with information, and then I don't think anyone retains any of that information.
I will admit, I play D&D regularly. I've been in a campaign for 2 years now, and I take notes during that campaign. I will admit, during WDWNT The RPG, I have not taken a single note. My campaign notebook is not out. I'm just gonna like wing it and like try and remember, which leads to like a better
stuff.
Yeah. So I have remade my character sheet like 3 times because I keep losing it. And then like when we were playing for like the last marathon, I remember that like I didn't even remember how to play, and I was like really high on cold medicine. And I just like went to you and I was like, I want to do this thing. How do I do the thing? Like nothing, you know, but it makes for some good moments.
Yep. And
no, for sure.
What was I going to say? Matthew, on the opposite end, though, he had like his character sheet was just full of notes in the back of it as well. Merlin,
Yeah.
Drew says Merlin, the theme park company. No, and I would not recommend working for them either because I did for 2 years. Okay.
Hey, I worked
Plot
for
of
them
the
too.
first.
Oh, nice.
What part? Cool. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
So the first episode was S.e.a, and so Merlin left. When we went to Disney and we ate at Pecos Bill's, there were these 2 doors on the second, like up a staircase, and I'm like, what's in those doors? I wanted to find like a nice way to incorporate hidden things in the parks you wouldn't normally look at, and like how could that be magical? Because in the first episode of Ride Rehab, we joked that we were recording the episode from the caged off escalator inside the entrance of Journey into Imagination. And then every time we go past that, I was like, hey, there's where we recorded our podcast. So I wanted to do that with the RPG. And I was like, what is behind those doors? What if it's a secret sea base? So,
Can I
not sea
just
base.
say, like, your creativity of just, like, being able to go to the park and look for specific things like this. Because, like, other people go to the parks and they're like, oh, yeah, like, the hidden things in Disney and stuff like that. No, like, Tyler's in another level. Tyler's just like, oh, those 2 doors. Those 2 doors lead to nowhere. But what if they do? Like, what?
You know,
It's like
Tyler's,
it's like when they did
Yeah.
because Red versus Blue, they used every asset in Halo to make that show, to the point that when I got back into playing Halo, I'm like, oh, it's that place from Red versus Blue, and I'm like, but that's like, it only means something because I've watched Red versus Blue. So I like the idea of like just taking something just out of the like completely ordinary from the park and just finding a way to like make it unique, because that's what Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom did. Like, especially inside like Tortuga Tavern, that fireplace that just opened, you're like, you never know there was like a hidden portal back there. Mm-hmm. Anyways, they were trying to get into S.e.a. There was a magical lock on the front, and they needed 4 items: a newspaper from Magic Kingdom, an airship from Epcot, a studio tour microphone from Studios, and a fossil from Animal Kingdom. And I had also said at this point, you could experience the parks as they are in the past and the present. So they could go to the studio tour if they wanted to. And boy, I canceled that right at the beginning of season 2 episode 2, because I hated how I made that way too open. But yeah, Magic Kingdom, they went and they got the newspaper from the Robo News guy. In Epcot, they needed an airship. And there is the actual Dreamfinder airship in Mouse Gear, or there was. Mm-hmm. So they could have got that, but they went to Dreamfinder to actually get his airship. In Studios, they had to... What was that?
Did we like make a deal with him? Or did we just ask for it? I don't remember.
I think you asked nicely, and also I think Nick manipulated Figment into coming with us. Like he could have just asked him, but instead he like hypnotized him or something.
That is true. I remember this now. Yes.
And then Animal Kingdom, they had to get a dinosaur bone. And, well, I think we'll play the first clip of the evening, which is from episode 1, where the RPG went trackless. Let's take a quick look at this bit and how I learned that being a DM means improvising on the fly. Right into a den full of monkeys. Now, we should have watched the wrong clip. These. I want you to pick. That is from the Jungle Cruise. Give us a second. Oh. I don't think they ever returned. No, they didn't return anything. This was episode 1. The RPG went trackless. We got like 20 clips lined up here, and I think they total an hour, so we could be here a while, just letting you know. But I don't think we're going to play every single clip.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. I'm just saying that there's a vehicle there that can take us to any point in time. We can literally just get dino bones right off the corpse.
Okay, so you head over into the Dino Institute, and everybody's boyfriend is waiting right there. It's Dr. Seeker. Yes. Goes, hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Seeker, and a heck of a paleontologist, if I do say so myself. How's everyone doing today?
Great.
That's wonderful to hear. I'm glad
Yeah.
people are stopping by. Unfortunately, the Time Rovers are kind of out of commission right now. You see, I just sent some people back in time. We almost didn't make it, and then all the tires exploded. They made it, but the Time Rovers are out of commission. That being said, if you do want to explore the exhibits in the front part of the Dino Institute, you're more than welcome to.
Oh, cool. One of those rehab Q tour experiences.
At that moment, Tyler and Thomas pop out of a bush and go, "Rehab?" Dr. Seeker says, "No, get out of here. Get away from my ride." And then they run off and go, like little goblins.
I don't want to say there's bias, but I think Tyler got a better shake there than Ben did.
I just made me go like a goblin. Oh, yeah.
Now I'm just saying, guys, do we still want to go back in time? Because I know we got someone in our group who could fix the thing.
Oh, that's right.
Fix the time rover.
I do have. Well, I mean, do we want to see if they'll just lend us a dinosaur bone, or do we can get one ourselves?
I don't know. It'd be more fun to go back in time. It might really throw someone off their game.
That's more adventurous anyway.
Yeah.
All right, Tyler, I'm gonna roll. I have a wrench. I believe that's the D4. Is that not?
You had another spell. What was it?
I had a magic fix-it spell.
Okay, what's your magic number?
My magic number is 12.
Okay, roll between 0 and 12.
8.
Wow. Okay.
You got an 8.
You wave your wrench around, and the Time Rover just straight up, the tires inflate back by themselves.
Yes.
And Dr. Seeker's jaw hits the floor.
And then the RPG ride went trackless.
Dr. Seeker, do you want to come with us? You might know about the area more than we would.
Based on how I drive when I'm using like this remote control thing, I'm gonna go ahead and say you guys have fun.
Oh, that's not good.
We'd probably make it.
Do we need to talk to Dr. Marsh?
If you wouldn't tell us anything.
Dr. Marsh is not here right now.
Oh, thank goodness. She would never let this happen.
No, absolutely.
Jessica was actually playing her cat, Gordo. She was her cat. Yeah, that was my first foray into, okay, I gotta be ready to improvise a lot of stuff, or I need to write way more options based on what these guys could do. Because I did try and railroad you guys into like Animal Kingdom, Dino Bones, you know where you're gonna go, the dig site. And then they're like, let's go back in time. And I'm like, car's broken. And they're like, I have a magic fix-it wrench. Yes, and I'm like, damn. And then they're like, is this other character here? And I'm like, no.
As soon as you say dino, I think automatically everyone just wants to go to the Dino Institute. Who wants to go dig up bones in the children's yard when I can go back in time and go and save an iguanodon?
It was great. Anyways, they got into C, and then we move into episode 2 where they are promptly kicked out of C.
Because we did bad things, and then they were like, "You're a disgrace to the company," right? Like,
there were a few reasons. The first was I wanted to. Well, first of all, I was trying to think of a better name than WDWNT The RPG. I wanted something original and unique that would stand out, like because you have Critical Role in the Adventure Zone, like these unique titles, and ours was just like. It's not an RPG of WDWNT, but I guess it kind of turned into one. We used a lot of the characters. Plus, like, this is the recognizable thing is the name of WDWNT, and that's who we are. So we kept it in it, and everyone seems to like it anyways. That being said, I didn't want it to be tied down to the Society of Explorers and Adventurers, because that is very much a Disney creation. And like, let's say we ever did build a merch store and start selling stickers and pins, I didn't want to sell stuff that would be like S.e.a. related. I wanted it to be our own thing. So, and also there was another group of Disney Parks content creators who we knew reasonably well, and they DM'd me and they were like, hey, we're also starting like an RPG thing, and it's going to be about the Society of Explorers and Adventurers. We just want to make sure that we're not trying to copy. We are doing two separate things. We just want to make sure. And they told me their plot, and I'm like, yeah, it's completely different. But I also wanted to move away from S.e.a. because of that. That being said, I don't think their thing really tackles the characters of S.e.a. and all that. So I did want to make something original, though. And so I decided it would be, because they broke all these rules, that they would have to work for a different company outside of Disney. And that's how I was like throwing out names, and I'm like, what would it be? And then I'm like, I guess it'd be freelancers. So it would be like, what do freelancers do? They're adventurers of the Freelance Adventure Company. And I kind of based that on the Jungle Navigation Co. And like, because that's like the name of like all the skippers and the Jungle Cruise. So I liked the idea of that sort of matching that aesthetic of like the adventure feel. So I went with Freelance Adventure Co. And then I made the joke that, oh, there's two doors there up on top of Pecos. One is a S.e.a. thing, but the other is just like bless you. The other one is just like the other guys. So that's where their lounge was, and their lounge was more makeshift and stuff. So yeah, Skipper David, which was my character from the original RPG, because I was the DM, there was no like host character in the game. So that is who my guy became. Just like the one that like sent you out on missions, kind of like the head of Acme, like Carmen Sandiego is over here, go get her. Yeah, first adventure was going into Thunder Mountain. You got a note that said, Big Thunder, help find deed. And I had based this off of the actual story behind Big Thunder Mountain, with like the mining town of Tumbleweed, and it was the height of the gold rush, and then the mine was dangerous, and then the town sunk into the ground during like a freak storm and everything. So I based a lot of the lore of that off of that one. And on this episode, I went way too hard on the railroading. I tried to make you guys do stuff, and it was go talk to these characters and then go into the mine when you're ready. And then they were like, can we talk to this character? And I'm like, they're not around yet, because I was like, I don't know what these characters that I would play would know. But anyways, we meet who is a recurring villain. We met Luella Divine, which is just like the most southern, like prairie character that I could come up with. So let's watch the highlight of episode 2, the clip called Luella Divine. And we'll see my horrible accent as well. You all head to the Prairie Outpost in Supply, and Luella Divine is there.
Wait a minute. Have we waited this long to talk to Luella, and Tyler's got like a great Luella, like all locked and loaded? Why didn't we go there first?
Because we wanted to see Ben. We wanted some form of comfort after we got booted from S.e.a.
Let's bring it. Luella, what's up?
Oh, howdy, y'all.
Oh.
I'm Luella, she says. She's wearing a red corset dress. She looks like the redhead from Pirates, basically, is what her outfit is, and her general just demeanor. She has a very strong southern accent. She's like, how's everyone doing today? Can I get you some fine delectables?
Can you tell us a little more about these delectables?
Oh, absolutely, you handsome man. We got the fine cupcakes, and those are 5 WDWNT bucks. And then we have a Big Thunder cupcake, and that one is 6 WDWNT bucks. I also got this canteen. I don't know if you want it. It's 15 WDWNT bucks. But we also have a lovely beverage. It's called Big Thunder Mountain Dew, and that's 1 WDWNT buck. I apologize to everyone for this accent.
That was a proud moment, though, when you figured out Mountain Dew, wasn't it? That was,
Oh, yeah.
that was a big deal. I bet you there were high fives all over for that one.
Oh, it was totally me and not Thomas from Ride Rehab who came up with
Sure.
that idea. I totally did it all by myself.
No, it just, yeah. Well,
my
yeah, that
gosh.
voice. I
So
love that Rob was
good.
like, does Tyler have like a great voice? And then I come out with that. That was also when it was WDWNT bucks instead of core bucks. Because we
Yeah.
had come
Oh my
up with
gosh,
the idea
yeah.
of
Core
fake.
To be fair, core bucks were not around then. We hadn't started that system yet. So
It was-
it's like
Oh,
it
wow.
cracked. Yeah, core bucks are like relatively new, honestly. So
Did we come
Yeah.
up with it? I don't
Tom
remember if
did.
we came up with it. No, it was definitely when, my WDWNT started. But yeah, there was they said that they went and talked to Ben. Ben had an uncle named Park Center, which was, I love those dumb character name jokes. And we'll get to Emma Target and Cameron Erman later. But then there was I think the concept artist for Big Thunder was named Clyde Geronimi. So I did a spoonerism of his name, and now someone else was related to Glide Serenimi. And people are like, what is that name? That sounds like a fake name. I'm like, that's a dude's name. Oh no, he was the creator of Pecos Bill, the character or something like that. Luella had her father, Nathaniel Devine, who was like that rooster from Looney Tunes was like, I'll say. I also had an accent for that. And he ended up being the bad guy. He had like killed other people so that he could take the deed to Big Thunder Mine. There was you guys went into the mine itself, and it was the first time I had used like a dungeon generator, which generated rooms, a map, and then a bunch of different traps on doorways, and then things to encounter in that room. And that really helped. I was so lost what to do for like the actual like dungeon itself. And just using one of these random generators, it was up to you guys as characters to just do whatever you wanted to. And then at the end, you found the guy who was trapped in there, or Glide Serenimi was trapped in there, and you found him. He has the deed, but then Nathaniel Devine shows up, and you guys were like, oh, we have the deed. It's in that room over there we haven't been in. And we have this clip, but we don't know if we'll have time to watch it tonight. So we'll see later on, maybe at the end of the show if we have extra time for clips. But you guys are like, go in there. And you had no idea what was in that room. And I said that you hear the sound of footsteps, you hear the sound of a blade swinging, and then there is silence. And you guys are all like, what?
We were murderers.
Yeah, and then Glide is like, how did you know there was a javelin trap? And you're like, we guessed. And you're like, guessed? But yeah, I mean, you didn't know that was going to happen, and this guy definitely would have tried to kill you. Whatever. We're not going to get into the morality of heroes versus villains.
But then, we got the deed for this, and then we gave it to Ben, right? Didn't we?
Mm-hmm. This is what kickstarted Ben giving you everything for free. There was a bunch of characters who could have been the rightful owners of Big Thunder Mine. And the idea was that you were introduced to all these characters, like David had his like great-grandfather, which was Glide, who was inside the mine, and then you could have just written your name. You could have written Voltron if you wanted to. You could have written anything on that blank deed, but you guys chose to do it for Park Center, which then gets passed down to Ben. So now Ben is the owner of Big Thunder Mine. He gets a golden name tag in future episode. And then Pete said he went to the Great Cupcake Factory in the Sky. And they're like, is Nathaniel Devine here? And you guys went, no, he went to the Great Cupcake Factory in the Sky. And Luella went, ugh, and fainted. And then I think someone in chat said, you guys just made a villain. And I'm like, oh, I got to bring her back later and try and kill everybody. And then you get one part of the robo-detector that Glide had with him, which was going to be used to find whoever this robo entity is that's trying to destroy the attractions. I just noticed I wrote here that it was going to be a spyglass. I guess I was very into series of unfortunate events. It would have been
At
like
the
some
moment.
kind of digital spyglass, but it turned out to be like the shoehorn thingy from Ghostbusters instead.
So now that was the last episode I'm pretty sure that I did on the RPG until the very last one. I took a really long break in between there. And that's when kind of like as a company, we started to bring in more people like Wolf and a lot of on-air talent, and a lot of people really wanted a chance to play the RPG, which ended up working out really well that everyone kind of got to try being on the show. And kind of getting their face in front of the cameras. I think this was a fun way to do it.
Yeah,
I really
crazy. I've said it before. Like, before even working for the company, I watched you guys play. And then it just came like full circle one time that I was like, wait, I want to play.
Yeah, totally. And like, just like a little spoiler for tomorrow for the honey heist, like we have two people. Well, Shannon's been on stuff. She was just on Geekly Kingdom last weekend, but I don't think our one character has done anything live yet.
Yeah.
If you guys know what I'm talking about. So it'll be really exciting. I'm excited to get him on the camera, and he's got a good costume, so it should be fun.
I'm so excited for tomorrow. Also, I get to be a player tomorrow, which is very unique.
Yes. Yeah, we're switching time. I'm taking over. I'm going to be the face in the cube at the beginning, or the D20, and you're going to be in the box. I'm going to put you in the box, Tyler.
I have it in my script for Tiki Maze that you were in that episode.
Was I? Which one was that one? And that was
Tiki
definitely my last one.
Tiki Maze was the countdown room where you kept pressing the button.
That was the last one that I did. Yeah, I thought that was in the mine. I thought that was in the mine dungeon for a reason.
So the next episode was the Enchanted Tiki Maze. It's episode 3. Yeah. This episode starts with you getting you coming back from the Mystery Big Thunder, and now you are to go to the Enchanted Tiki room because there's a storm brewing around the attraction. And it's no longer safe to have the attraction open. So the bird hosts ask for your help, essentially. You guys went to Ben. Ben has an extravagant golden name tag, and he says you can have anything for free, which was a mistake because in the previous episode, Ben had a skeleton key which can open any locked anything, and it was like 1,000 core bucks. And then in the next episode, I'm like, I got to get rid of that key because now it can be available. You guys have a lockpick kit, which means you can roll to lockpicks to pick locks.
Pick locks, lockpicks, you know.
I was like, I need to get rid of that. Then we met the Tiki Birds, and I had to write down what their accents were, and I didn't do. I couldn't do accents, and I didn't want to be offensive or be mean to any like nationality, so I was just like, okay, I'm gonna just do a regular voice, and you guys could just imagine it. That doesn't mean I didn't try. Oh wait, I forgot. To get into the Enchanted Tiki room, you had to get past a cast member who was guarding outside, and I was like, what's a good name for a character that you kind of have to like hitman kind of do stuff to, like try and get her out of the way or knock her out or something. And I think Thomas said Emma Target, as in I'm a target. And so let's just watch the highlight of episode 3 where you meet Emma Target and we see what you do to her. And that Pete is not here because it was all his fault. And it set up another villain, essentially. All right, let's roll the clip. And you approach the entrance of the Tiki room. So, oh, hey, Alicia, there you are. There, as Ben told you, Emma Target, Emma Target is stationed outside. And she is directing guests away from the attraction for their own safety. Wow. If anyone is watching live, that was an actual storm behind Matthew.
Yep.
But anyways, theming.
Special effects are amazing.
Oh yeah, we got like Imagineer quality effects here. So she says, "Oh, hi folks, I'm so sorry I can't let you in. Unfortunately, oh wait, no, she's French. I'm sorry for.
Oh, Emma, you're funny.
I can't do a lady voice and a French accent at the same time. Okay, she goes.
She's French American. You could just use a regular old voice.
She has a Montreal accent. She's like, I'm sorry, everyone, I can't let you in. No, I'm doing like a Marion Cotillard voice. Is that how you pronounce her name? Whatever. Anyways, she's like, I'm so sorry, I cannot let you in. There is a big storm brewing above the attraction, and it is very dangerous.
No, but see, we have clearance, okay? And, like, I'm a cast member, so, like, I can get in and, like, take care of it. Maintenance on us to, like, deal with it, so we got to get in there.
You have clearance, so what kind of clearance do you have?
The cast member kind.
Oh.
Highest.
The highest authority.
She goes, I'm not sure of what authority you talk of. Do you have a card or something? That's
I do. I have this wonderful blue ID with my picture on it.
Okay,
Alicia, might be time to show off that lovely thing Ben gave you.
Yeah, I pull out my pin and I'm like, look, proof.
That is a pin.
But it's cast member exclusive.
Special.
Yes, that is cast member. That does not explain why you should be able to enter here, even though I'm telling people it is not safe.
Look, our skipper told us we should head over and see if you guys needed any help. Obviously, there's a storm cloud brewing, and we're known for helping out with trouble.
She goes, I understand what you are saying, but I was told not to let anyone in under any circumstances. Not even maintenance people. They cannot fix these.
Hey,
So-
Emma.
We
Emma,
can
listen,
fix the Yeti.
We tried this the right way. Don't make me do this the wrong way. I need you to look right into my eyes, Emma. Right into my eyes. Keep looking.
Pete blows a giant cloud of baby powder right out in the open in front of everyone else who's currently in Adventureland. She coughs and is temporarily... You know what? Roll a d20 for me, Pete.
Oh, I can roll for him. Do you need it?
Go ahead, I'm rolling. Just someone tell me what it is.
It's a 3.
It's a 3?
It's a 3. Sorry.
Oh no.
She coughs momentarily, and she waves the dust out of her face. So you probably have 3 seconds where she is currently distracted.
I
Well,
run
let's
for
check
it.
in
I
there.
run for the inside.
You're all gonna run for the inside?
We're booking it, baby. We are athletic, good-looking people.
Okay, then. Well, you actually do have a physical trait. So I'm gonna get everyone to roll a d20. Pete, I'll roll for you since Matthew's rolling. 11.
No
16.
doubt.
14.
14.
Okay. You are all able to easily dodge past her and run straight through the queue where she immediately turns and goes, What is that? What happened? Where did they go? And she only briefly catches a glimpse of you disappearing through the front doors. Whoa, there was like a Star Wars wipe there.
We're getting fancy.
I do not remember ever making her have a French accent until I rewatched and edited that clip. And I'm like, oh, I totally forgot about that in the future, which is good. I said, oh, I'm not going to do an accent with these birds. And then I immediately do one of a Doge.
So,
Anyways,
something that you guys were kind of talking about in the chat, I just want to like derail our conversation a little bit, but it is about the RPG. But like you were talking about it in YouTube, and like we mentioned something in like our internal staff chat, but like it's fun to go back and watch these and see everyone, because these have been taking place over the years. Like this is not, this wasn't within a year. This has been like 3 or 4 years now at this point. And like you said, Tyler, in the YouTube chat, like we got better at streaming. We figured out how to do YouTube, how to do graphics, make everything look better. And then like I'm just enjoying going back and being like, I was in a different apartment. I haven't lived there in like 4 years, and like Wolf had mentioned, he was like, "Oh, your hair looks different." I'm like, "Yeah, that was like 6 colors ago at this point." It's really funny to go back and just like look at all this old stuff, and I love it.
I noticed I had my old computer as well back there, and I didn't have
Yeah.
like. I also had my camera like over here instead because I didn't want anyone to see into my kitchen. But now I have this thing. Wouldn't that have been funny if it fell down? Okay, so inside we have a series of rooms that were various puzzles and stuff, and I wanted to try and show to you that there was nothing lethal that was in this entire map. There was nothing lethal that would hurt you. These were just a series of weird, fun little puzzles and stuff. And one of the first things you did, though, was the countdown room. A button in the middle of the room, you push it, all the lights turn off, the doors are closed, and 10, 9, it starts counting down. The closer you get to 1, the lights are in the room are flashing, and everyone's just like, what are we doing to do? Press it again, 10. It just keeps resetting. And then it gets to 1, and I'm just like, the lights turn on and the doors open up. And you're all like, what? And I'm just sitting there like with this troll face. It was so fun though. I watched a lot of videos of like, here's like free little puzzle ideas you can use. And that one was like, this is not a clever puzzle. This is just to mess with your players. And I'm like, I gotta use this. And it worked beautifully. Next room, it was just like, don't touch the water, because if you get to the other side, you're automatically teleported back. And you guys figured that out pretty quickly. You were like, oh, there's vines on the walls and a pit of water. Well, let's not go in the water. And I'm like, wow. There's a tiki statue that this was a favorite thing I did. It's supposed to be one of those things where one tiki tells the truth and the other lies, but one of them didn't show up for their scheduled shift today. And so you guys are like, well, we got to figure out if he tells the truth or he lies. What's 2 plus, or no, you're like, how do you feel about Moana? And I'm like, why didn't you just ask a math question? Like, you guys asked an open-ended question where it could be truth or a lie.
During the like Moana rumors of like the refurb, and we were just like, that was like big doings. Everyone had opinions on it. So it's coming to Poly. So it made its way in here eventually.
It was a good bit. A room you didn't go into, on the wall is a giant piece of text written in red, and it says overthinking, and there were 3 treasure chests. You guys never went into the room, which sucks, because those 3 chests held literally all 3 of the items you needed to collect. You needed a tiki drum, a tiki mask, and a leaf. And all 3 of those chests held all 3 of those items. You never went in that room, though, which would have been so funny. There was a no swimming sign and a pit of quicksand in the middle of the room, and you're like, let's not go in that. And I'm like, God, they're smart. There was one that was a series of riddles, which were the 3 items you needed, which was the drum, the mask, and the leaf. I don't remember how you got those things. Then the next one was draw me a picture. Whatever you drew would have come to life and attacked you, but you just drew the Moana logo, and so it just floated around the room like one of those DVD like logos when it's timed out.
Yes.
Then it was a math question. It was the year the Magic Kingdom opened, plus the year the Tiki Room opened, plus the number of bird hosts. It was 1971 plus 1971 plus 4. And then you got the leaf from there. But yeah, in the end, you just did everything correctly, and you were able to get out. And then David held up a security card to Expedition Everest and said, "We have unfinished business."
I did that one too. Ooh. Wow, I completely forgetting.
Your name is in my script.
Yeah, I did that one too. I'm just lying all sorts tonight.
This was during the marathon.
I was like, I think I started on the 5th episode, and that one you weren't in.
There we go. We found it.
Yeah, I was like, wait.
That was Tomorrowland. Yeah. This episode was during the
remember
Toys for Tots marathon.
Yeah, the debacle that was this Yeti episode, man. It caused some emotional scarring, I feel like, for some characters.
I have a 7-minute clip, which I don't know if we should play the whole thing or not, because it's my favorite thing it's one of my 2 favorite things that ever happened, and I'll just get to it as we go through this episode. So this one was Yeti heist. You guys were going to sneak in and fix the Yeti. So you have a key card. So you have a way to get into the mountain, but you need to get to the side of the mountain, basically. So I told you that you could go to Cast Costumes. It's beside Pandora. You can sneak in there. You choose not to do that. Instead, Nick says, "Is there a Run Disney race on?" And I went, "What?" And he's like, Run Disney goes behind Everest. And this is where the whole episode gets wonderful, because I rolled a die myself to decide whether or not this would happen. And it did. So I'm like, there is a Run Disney event, and here's the route it takes. The only thing is you do not have a ticket for this event if you choose to go and try and run the event. So you get Gladys. Gladys drives you over. Oh, I introduced Gladys a while back, I think. And
I think that was like episode 3 that we met Gladys, if not earlier.
Yeah. It was, I think, no, it was the very first episode, because you're getting around to all the different parks. And Gladys showed up in a different vehicle every time. I should just talk about Gladys. Gladys, Wolf, if you want to bring up like the image I think I posted there of her. Gladys, I decided, was like the character Glottis from the video game Grim Fandango, who's a demon of speed and just is this big, bulky demon that's huge and can't fit in a car and talks like this. Manny Calavera, wow! So there's Gladys. It's a PNG, sorry. But then along the way, I started having Gladys tell jokes, and because of the voice, then Wolf started doing Maria, the character, and I just decided that Maria and Gladys were sisters or cousins or something. And at one point, I think it was the next episode, the Tomorrowland one, I'm like, I'm going to have Gladys call Maria, so get ready to be Maria and tell a joke. And that's all I said to you. And then, so yeah, that's how the character design just stemmed out of. It was like, Thomas designed Gladys to look like Maria's sister, and that's why she's got the crazy gray hair. And yeah, it was great. And she's like really bulky, I guess, because she carries people. Anyways,
Chad is freaking out. They just found out that Wolf is Maria. Oh, it's all an illusion.
Oh no! I mean, no. I ruined it. I ruined the magic. I'm going to lose it this time.
Sorry, guys. Santa Claus isn't real either. We're just going to ruin everything today.
So you get on the bus, and I thought a really fun joke would be if you had to pretend to be tourists. And then I'm like, wouldn't it be great if I just had to make them do an accent? So Gladys says, security, these are just some French tourists, right? And I was like, I really hoped everyone would just do a bad French accent. And then, yeah, everyone's like, oui, Eiffel Tower! And I'm like, oh, God. That was so much fun. You guys didn't go to the costume department. There was a character who could have used your help in the costume department. You actually found an item. You actually even found an item that belongs to them later on, and you never took it back to the costume department, which is fine because you never talked to them.
We stole someone's item?
You guys got the Yeti coffee mug, which you could have given to them, and they would have given you something else in return. But instead you gave it to Gladys, and Gladys fell in love with you guys, so that's fine. So then we come to, and if it's okay with everyone, this show will go a bit long. I want to play this clip because it's my favorite. This is episode 4, and this is the most confusing thing that ever happened. So, Faye, Spectro, Nick is, Yes, Nick as Spectro decided that he was going to charm the person running the Run Disney event into letting them in. It failed. So Faye decides, I'm going to freeze this person or something. That fails. So then it just causes a huge disturbance, to which the person running the Run Disney event calls security. And I'm like, okay, they're failing so hard. I need to get them in the park, though. So I decide in the moment, I'm going to get you in the park, but a distance from the mountain. So you guys get arrested and thrown into a jail cell in Restaurantosaurus. And you proceed to not explain anything to these confused chefs that are like, what happened? And you just like, it's like you guys have no idea what's happening, and I just came into the room and went, yeah, it's not like that, okay? The trash can just fell over. And you'd be like, what? That's what this was like. You're explaining something to someone who has no context for what happened. And so let's just play this clip. It's episode 4. This is clip number 2 called The Confusion. And just watch me slowly lose my mind and break. You're all zip-tied with your hands behind your back in a cage in the kitchen at Restaurantosaurus. And a few of the chefs are just like cooking idly, like disgusting hamburgers and pasta. And they just turn and look at you and they're like, what do I do? Is this normal? We normally keep like the French fries in that cage. Okay.
Well, good thing we're
so.
I'm really sorry, guys.
What's your next move from here? You've basically been imprisoned.
Are the guards still there? Are they still watching
guards?
Us or no?
The guards left after saying they'll be back in 10 minutes with their supervisor. So now the guards are not currently there. Your hands are bound behind your backs. You're in a metal cage in the back part of Restaurantosaurus, and there are a few chefs weirdly looking at you, confused what the hell is going on.
So I say we ask for some food, right?
We got 10 minutes to bust out of here, but first, a snack.
So Tyler, let me ask you this.
Yes.
Was it 100% obvious what Faye did, or was it just because she was standing there they assumed that she did it?
She rolled a very critical failure, so it was very obvious what she did to the security and the people around who actually witnessed this happening.
But not necessarily to the supervisor who didn't see it.
Correct. Not necessarily the supervisor.
The customer is always right.
Or the people in Restaurantosaurus. Or the chefs cooking in Restaurantosaurus.
We've been falsely imprisoned. We should tell them that.
Yeah, we deny the hell out of it.
Yep.
They're crazy.
They're wrong. I'm a princess. I don't belong in a
Alright,
cage.
so what do you say to them?
I don't know, you're probably
May
better
I
at
try
this than me.
something? Alright, listen.
I get a t-shirt.
You seem like nice fellas. I just want to say, we are so sorry for the inconvenience. There was a huge misunderstanding. You see, our friend Faye here, she's not from around here. She's from another land. She obviously misunderstood the situation. And frankly,
And
I
she
think
tripped
a little
and
more
fell.
tact on...
Hold on. She tripped and fell. She didn't do anything.
This is true.
All the guards...
This is true. And frankly, she could be injured. I don't know why they think locking us up helps.
It hurts. It all hurts. Ow. Owie. Ow. Help.
All the chefs are like looking at each other like, we don't know what you're talking about. What happened?
Okay,
Who are you
here's the
even?
deal.
Nothing.
Why are you in a
Nothing.
French fry cage?
It's
My
not
buddy
important.
Spectro
Can you
here, he was registered with this race. And obviously the server was down when he registered because they told him he was registered, but he's not on the list. You know, like you do.
And we
So what's going on here?
We just, you know, we
were on the list.
Restaurantosaurus.
And then it turns out he wasn't.
Yeah.
Like Cantosaurus in Dinoland USA.
We mobile ordered, and they told us to come here, and this doesn't seem
maybe
like the
that's what we
right
should do with an
line. Could
entropy
you maybe
machine.
cut us free
Just
and point us in the right
confuse
direction and
somebody
pick up
by
our mobile?
presenting
Yeah,
no
I
contact
mean,
and talking
obviously
like that
something's
lady
going
in
on with the
the Great
computer
Space
system.
Jam.
Not that Disney will ever admit it.
The chefs
Unexpected
like have stopped cooking at this point. The servers are looking in the window, like trying to figure out what's going on. The chefs are looking at you like, okay, each of you just gave me a different story as to what happened. This one says she tripped. This one says she's from a different country or something. You're saying you're involved in a race. You know what?
Look,
I don't know
thing.
what's going on here. Clearly security has imprisoned very confused tourists.
Yes. It's been a
We're
very
an
long
improv
morning
troupe.
of trying to deal. No, it's been a very long morning of trying to deal with my Disney experience. Our friend here was trying to go to the race. Obviously, it was all messed up. His My Disney Experience app kept crashing. He couldn't show them his confirmation number. My other friend tripped and fell into a table that all of a sudden got cold.
Oh my god.
And icy, and so she slipped and fell. And now all of a sudden, we're just thrown in jail.
Yeah,
So yes,
she was
we're
from-
confused
she's from
tourists
another
that just
country,
need to
she got
go
confused, and
on
she
our
tripped in
way.
the process. Where is the sympathy here? Where is the kindness? Where is the Disney magic, I ask you?
And the quicker you let us go, the quicker you get back to your job, and your boss won't get mad.
Not only
That is
that,
true.
but do you want it to hit Twitter that you all have locked up a princess from Arendelle?
Do you want to be in the next maintenance report?
No.
I'm just saying.
I'm losing my mind right now. Okay. The chefs are now looking at the servers. Everyone's like, one of them pulls out a knife, walks over to the cage, and picks the lock open, throws it in a vat of tomato sauce. They cut your zip ties. They're like, I don't know what's going on here. I don't really care. I mean, everything sounds confused. It feels like I just went on Transformers 3D. I just don't know what's going. Just get out of here. And they usher you out the cast door and out the front door. So you're now standing outside of Restaurantsaurus. I'm going to be honest. I've never played a D&D game where the main idea was to just confuse everybody. But it works.
So
like I think I see where the problem was. I had said that everyone around you when the event happened noticed because it was a critical failure. You guys assumed that all of Animal Kingdom heard what had happened.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's the only way that one can take it. So obviously when you're put in that situation, you just start spewing nonsense. And I mean, to be fair, it worked in the end. If this is what they say. If you act crazy, they're gonna let you go eventually because they don't want to deal with you. So that's what we did.
Yeah, it's like that bit from that Mel Brooks movie High Anxiety, where they're just like angry Jewish people in an airport. They're just like, "What? I beeped? What do you want from me?" It really did go off the rails, and it was the funniest thing because I tried to give you guys like hints to try and explain what it was, and then you just kept like, "Listen, this is a thing." Matthew was talking like John Mulaney. My friend here is from Arendelle, and she doesn't know what's happening like right now, as you do.
I think my favorite part is that like if you were to like watch watch the beginning of how that encounter starts and then watch the end. That story changes like 6 times as we're trying to figure out how we want to spin this. And we're just like, wait. No, that's not actually what happened. And people like would call that out. Great. This was real. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That was good
Anyways.
times.
And then you guys, this is where I started making things. After this, I tried to make things more specific what you can do, which you can tell in the next episode, Tomorrowland. Because in this episode, I'm like, okay, you're standing in front of the queue line to Everest. There's 2 security guards who are sweating. There's 2 people standing over by the boat docks for Rivers of Light, and there's a shop over here. And then you guys go, what are we supposed to do? And I'm like, I just 3 specific things you can do.
Oh, I think everyone's brains were fried after trying to get ourselves free. To be fair.
Yeah, it was Toys for Tots marathon, so I guess everyone was a bit tired.
All. We were probably on the air for many hours before we were playing this game.
You guys get some Yeti masks, which come in a 5-pack, so you can all disguise yourselves because security is looking for you after the last time you tried to fix the Yeti, had its finger fall off, and then put it back on during episode 1. That's another clip I have that maybe we'll watch at another time. I had actually written that you guys could try and break into the mountain and then get captured, but you already got captured, so I decided not to run with that. Instead, we see Cameron Erman, which is another play on words of cameraman, which doesn't make sense because he watches the cameras. He's not a cameraman, he's just watching the feeds. But he was like, he tells you what the Phantom of the Mountain, which was a Phantom of the Opera bit I tried to inject into there. Somebody who was like mysteriously trying to destroy attractions, which sets up the Tomorrowland story. And he's like, you guys are maintenance, right? And you're like, yep. and then you get to the maintenance hub where I said, so on the other end of the room, there's a door that's called High Concept Miscellaneous Interactions, which is the name of a room from this comedy video game called Dr. Langeskov, the Diamond, the Tiger, and the Terribly Cursed Emerald or something. It's this free video game that's kind of like Stanley Parable, playing with how a video game functions. And one of the rooms was called High Concept Miscellaneous Interactions. And I just thought it was such a great string of words. But as soon as I said the name of that room, Matthew goes, High Concept Miscellaneous Interactions. HCM. And he's trying to figure out if it stands for something or if it's like a puzzle. Then we get to
do that, man. Yeah.
Then we get to the 3 lockers. The first locker had Corbucks in it. The second locker had the mug. And then you guys didn't have to open the 3rd locker, but you did, and there were bees inside. And apparently the day that we were doing this, like the story broke. The story broke about the bees in the Tomorrowland's Joffrey's.
Oh my god!
And I had written this beforehand, and I had no idea. So when it happened, in the clip you see Alicia go, "I'm done. This broke me."
Yeah,
because I think you wrote the story.
Yeah, so I think it might have been Epcot. I forget. It was definitely a festival thing, which for those who don't know, that is literally my job for this company. That's my department. And so I had like been dealing with that nonsense all day. Like the reporters couldn't go and get what they needed to because the bees kept shutting down this Joffrey stand. And it was ridiculous. It's become like an inner WDWNT joke that whenever a bee thing happens, it's bees, and it's ridiculous.
And that's
so, like, the whole day I was like, hey, have you gotten this yet? And they were like, we can't. The bees closed the stand. And I'm like, what is happening right now? And then Tyler and bees did a stupid thing, and it was like PTSD.
I didn't even know. But that's where the Colleen is the Bee started from, was that whole thing. Final room, you get to the Yeti, and then a bunch of disco music starts playing. I was like, how do I do the Yeti? If he's in disco mode, then this whole room is a disco. And then I pictured the King Konga music from Crypt of the Necrodancer, which is in the episode because it's like the burn, dun, 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 and it's like the pulsing beat. And I'm like, what if the floor was pulsing like in Crypt of the Necrodancer? So that was the puzzle. There were switches on the wall that would turn off B mode. And then you can turn on A mode, but it would kill him. So you needed to like fix him first. So you could have destroyed him. And then as you exit, you see the Phantom, which we find out in the next episode. Oh, right. The costumer's name was Blairy Mare, which is a spoof of Mary Blair.
I love that, though. That's really
I
cute.
forgot that. What would she have
really
given it?
cute.
Oh, I never used this. What? I forgot what so she would have given you an item, and this item, I don't know if I should say this, 'cause I don't think I'll use it again. Blairy Mare would have given you, if you had given her a new mug, which would have been the Yeti mug, she would have given you a crystal ball, which I don't think I wrote what it does. But then she wrote, "You wouldn't believe the kinds of things I find in the costumes. I once found a whole bone inside of the Goofy costume. I thought Goofy only had skin, but whatever," which is a reference to an internet video no one is going to know because I think they deleted the video. They're making fake creepypasta about Disney, and they're like, Goofy only has skin. Anyways, you guys go back to Gladys. I wrote that Gladys is in a fancy suit. She drives you back to the Magic Kingdom. And, you're in a limo. You're in a stretch limo, and she's in a suit. And then, you get back, and we get into episode 5, which is the Tomorrowland travesty.
So
you
before
guys
we get
got
to episode 5, wait, I'm gonna hop off actually because I've got things I've got to do for tomorrow. I've got Geekly Kingdom. I've got Heist. I've got to finish prepping for it. But I just want to give first a big thank you to you guys for letting me walk down this memory lane. This has been like super fun. And then tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're heisting some honey from Magic Kingdom, and I'm really excited.
Yeah.
And these are going to be in it, and you should come and watch and hang out with us. We're going to get silly. We're all bears, and it's going to be super fun. So
it's going to be a great episode.
I think that's all I've got to say. So I'm gonna say goodbye and go finish prepping and get ready for tomorrow. Which is also my birthday, so you guys have to come and celebrate my birthday with me.
Yes, happy early birthday to you in 2 hours.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes,
all right. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night, Alicia. Thanks for memory lane with us.
Yes, absolutely. Anytime.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. All right, so we get to the Tomorrowland travesty. If you're in the chat right now, you know who Adam Handley is. He's a huge fan of the RPG, and Adam emailed me, I have an idea for an RPG episode, and I went, okay, I'll see if I use this. And it's literally the entirety of this episode. And I'm like, this is a great idea for an episode. So I was like, can I use this? And he's like, go for it. So I used pretty much everything that he had sent me, which was the plot, the puzzles, the idea of Plus Ultra and the meeting room and secret meeting room in Space Mountain. It was just so thank you, Adam, for writing this one because it was fantastic.
Yeah.
In it, we had the first time we had the theme song. It was the first episode with Eric as Ace AJ Jimenez, which I know how to pronounce now. Allison was playing. I was like, okay, Allison, what character do you want to be? And she's like, I am Tom. I'm on a show, and she says, I'm Sunny Eclipse's Tom.
Sorry, I got spooked.
And Allison says,
sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I gotta remember to go mute that now, unless you didn't hear it. Then Allison says, I am Sunny Eclipse's agent. And I'm like, darn it. Because I wrote Sunny Eclipse and I wrote his character having an agent. And so I was like, well, I got to rewrite this now. So now it was the head of Cosmic Rays instead of her, instead of Sunny's agent. What?
Wait a minute. Do you remember that my character was originally going to be called Ace.
Yeah.
And you were like,
it says Ace
wait,
AJ
what?
Jimenez.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, you were like,
oh
are
yeah,
you kidding me?
because
And then I was like, oh, okay, we'll just call him AJ.
because Adam's like character or persona is Ace, which I think was a character from Star Tours. I genuinely do not remember, and I'm so sorry for that. But he's always mentioning Ace, so I'm like, I should add a character that will be Ace. But I called it Automated Courier Express, and he's like a little robot that brings you the letter to say to go to Tomorrowland, just as like a little throwback there, or just as a little cameo. So he gives you the message. He says, and it's like, here's a bunch of things you need to do. You need to meet the governor at a certain place at a certain time, and give the code phrase. So basically, go all over Tomorrowland, look for clues of what these 3 things are. I built a website. I built a page on the website that had puzzles that the fans can do, and then it leads them to a Google form where they type in an answer, and that stuff will be used at the end of the episode. So I created an alternate reality game where you did a bunch of puzzles, and then you also had to go to that website during the actual level, because I was going back and looking at the whole Tomorrowland movie alternate reality game that they did at D23, and I liked the idea of having to go to Disneyland and then go to a location and then cross like locations with other people who were playing the same game, and then go back to the convention center and talk to a guy. Like, I loved that, so I wanted it to be like this.
That's cool. Yeah.
What is the shortest clip that we have? Well, I gave you a map this time. I'm like, here is everywhere you can go. Because on the last one, you're like, what do we do? So I gave you guys a map. Gladys shows up in a horse-drawn wagon to bring you to Tomorrowland. And she's like, do you want to hear a Disney joke? Why was Tigger in the bathroom so long? He had a poo stuck inside him, which makes no sense, because why would poo actually be inside of Tigger? It was just a very bad joke I found on the internet.
Oh my god.
Anyways, you guys get to Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor, and you need to make some money. So we introduced Tully. Let's play episode 5, clip number 2, which is Tully. First time we saw him. A blue cat is going through his notes like he's about to go on stage. And he says, oh, hi, everyone. Hi, okay, nice to meet you. Oh, crap. Oh, geez. Like, I'm about to go on stage, and, like, none of my material is any good. I mean, you guys want to hear a bad joke? Listen to this garbage. You know what Okay, here we go. Which Disney princess is a cow's favorite?
Mulan.
Which one?
Anyone know? It is Mulan. It is Mulan.
Yeah.
How did you know that?
Hey.
People. Not only is that a bad joke, but like, she was able to figure it out. Like, it's not like it's known. Like she figured that out. She knows it. How?
Yeah.
How does that happen? So yeah, like, I could use some help. You folks look like you can help me. So like, wait a minute. Do you know what the best form of comedy is right now? Do you know?
Which one?
Prop comedy?
It's memes. It's memes. That's it. That's what we should do. So I'll tell you what, if you guys can find me some dank Disney memes, I'll reward you for it. Five core bucks for every meme that I find funny. Does that sound good?
Okay. Yeah, that sounds great, actually.
All right.
Awesome. Okay, so just whenever you get time, doesn't have to be right this second. I'm not in any rush. There's shows every 15 minutes. Just if you find dank Disney memes, just send it to me on Slack. My name is the RPG channel. I mean, it's spelled RPG channel, but it's pronounced Tully. My name is Tully. My name is Tully, by the way. Hi, nice to meet you.
Gotcha. Hey, what's up?
Any questions?
No. So, like, really dank ones, right?
The dankest. Like, really dank. Like, I want it all.
Got you.
Give me it.
I'm not from this
dank memes.
planet. What is this word? Dank? translate? How does that translate?
How do I? It's like terrible. Like
Yeah.
like have you ever seen like a meme where it's like deep fried, like the image? It's like shockingly like terrible, and it's like a poop post. You ever heard of those? There's another word for poop. It's like a
feces.
Like an SHIT post, one of those kinds. Yeah, that's a dank meme. Just anything, if it makes me laugh. There's another word for poop. Feces. I don't remember that. So Tully was a creation that came from the roast. The roast, they were like, we want to have somebody who can read the jokes that the chat comes up with, like how Marty Wazowski reads the jokes that you text in. And so I have the full Adobe suite. So I go in Adobe Character Animator, and there's this blue cat, and his name is Tull, and he's like a tutorial character because that's exactly how he appears. That he's full body, and you basically, if you have a camera set up, it will track your face and how you move your head. If you turn, his face looks like it's moving left and right, and it tracks your eye movements. When you talk, it recognizes the vowels you're saying, and then it makes the proper lips. And then I am controlling his eye movements and his arm movements with a sort of like when you're controlling animatronics, there are certain like buttons for like making them move a pose. It's essentially the same mechanics they use for doing Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. So I said, hey, let's do this for the roast. I will take all the notes of the stuff in the chat, and then I will read it out, and I'll pretend I'm like Marty Wazowski. But instead, I will be like Sully's like nephew, and instead of Tull, I'll call him Tully, which is where the name came from. Tom Corliss hated Tully because he's like, it's a generic blue cat. It's not even like designed to be unique to us in any way. And character animator is complicated. I don't know how to rig up a character yet, but I did make changes to Tully. I changed his outfits. I changed his hairstyle and gave him a hat. I changed his nose to be more cat-like. So I've made a lot of modifications to Tully over the other episodes. But this was the first time I did it, and I love Ashley's face in this because Tully pops up and he's like, hello, and she's like she had never seen anything like that before. It was so great.
It's so good.
Yeah, it was basically a fully puppeted character, and so I make his arms do all these predefined motions, and I make his eyes like go half lidded or get angry. It was so much fun to do. It meant I was on like a 2-second delay because you heard when she's like Mulan, and then I go, it is Mulan. But that was so much fun. And then I didn't know how to describe what dank means. Then you guys went to Stitch, and I said Stitch will be back in 30 minutes, and I actually set a 30-minute timer. Stitch gives you you guys have been carrying a crate for so long, and then Stitch has a space crate, and you're like, what if we give him the crate? Will he give us the other one? So you guys traded. So now you had a different kind of crate. I thought that was amazing, and I didn't even think about that. With Buzz Lightyear, he's like, oh, well, first of all, you met Karen Karensen, who was never intended to be a ghost. She was just intended to be a whatchamacallit, a DVC person who's like, I don't want to talk to you. I just want to sell DVC. Which I apologize if you are a DVC person, like salesperson. It's just they're so like rough about it that like they really gotta get it. They don't care a smack about you. So I wanted a character who every 3 questions she would say something mysterious. Otherwise, she's just trying to sell you on DVC. But you guys just you thought it meant something. I was just trying to say that there was always more than one choice, because at the end of the episode, you would have to make a big choice to either kill this guy with a EMP or save him. But then there was many things in between. So I just wanted to like make sure that you knew that there was always more than two choices. But you guys just went so hard on that Buzz Lightyear had to be like, yeah, I don't think you need to worry about what she said. If you catch my drift, and you guys took that as Karen Karenson is evil and we shouldn't trust her. Which was so funny.
You never know playing this game. You just never know what could be something, what could not be something, what's like a riddle, what's not a riddle. It's just, it's like if you go and you go do an escape room, you just start turning tables and stuff because you're like, it could be anywhere. Start counting tiles, like it just gets in your head.
You could have written Buzz Lightyear. All it would have done was give you a ranking that you can assign to your character. Later, you could be like, excuse me, I'm a galactic hero. It wouldn't have done anything. But you rode Astro Orbiter, and it just gave you back health because it was such a charming ride, which we never used again. Space Mountain, there was just, you ride it normally, but you get into the Light and Power Co. And I liked the idea that Alien Encounter, XS Tech, there was a big power cable that was shoved into the sewer pipes outside of the attraction to show that they were stealing the power from the Tomorrowland Light and Power Co. I thought that was a great idea that never stuck around with Stitch and the Galactic Federation Transportation Center. So I made it that Stitch, it was still stealing energy from the Light and Power Co. and the clock was stuck at 8 p.m. and you were like, oh, I guess that means nothing anyways. And I'm like, you have to meet at a specific time. I wrote here that his name is Inspector Hector and he has a Ned Flanders type mustache and Wisconsin accent. I think I did all right with that. Cosmic Rays. You guys were so mean to Sunny Eclipse. Sunny Eclipse is playing at this crummy location. Cosmic Ray is the manager of Cosmic Rays, and he knows that Sunny Eclipse is good at his job, so he's trying to keep him there and not let him perform anywhere else so he can be more famous. And then Callie David, who is his Sunny Eclipse's manager, thinks he's doing okay where he is. And chooses not to save Sunny Eclipse from his horrible gig. I can't believe you guys never came back to fix that. Especially because Skippy, the alien who lives in the sewer underneath Stitch, said that he loves singing. You could have gotten him a gig, and then Sunny Eclipse could have. You guys never did that.
Definitely. You have a point there.
You guys found you met at a certain time, a certain place. You got to oh wait, I forgot. At Cool Ship, Russ the Robot is there. Another WDWNT character. And he's telling you that the website has multiple words italicized incorrectly. The image has blue highlights and the URL has a weird phrasing, which meant if you went to the website, you would have noticed all those things were the 3 specific where to go, what the time was, and what the phrase was. But he only said it once, and then he shuts down. And I liked doing the Russ voice. Ben in the shop, mayonnaise. Somebody wrote that you should throw mayonnaise at Karis, which meant I needed to put mayonnaise somewhere in the game so that you can get it. And so I put this jar of mayonnaise, and Ben, this was the first time Ben played Ben. And Ben was like, I got all these things. I got these pins. I got a jar of mayonnaise here. I don't know. I've got these things. I've got these things. I've got these things. And then Callie goes, how much for that mayo, though? And it was just like, why did they cared so much about the mayo? That was just so funny. Yes. Anyways, you got to Carousel Progress. You got a pin which scanned through the same way that it does in the movie Tomorrowland when you went on the People Mover, took you to the base of Plus Ultra, where I wrote her name is Gina Torres, but she's not the famous Gina Torres. She's just the governor of Tomorrowland. just because when I pictured the governor, well, first of all, I mentioned the governor of Tomorrowland, and everyone was like, "Oh, what does he look like?" And I'm like, "She's actually very." I was like, "Yeah, you guys just assumed she was a dude. I made her a lady. I made her like the character from Mission Space because that's what I pictured when I pictured the governor of Tomorrowland.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Like the host of Mission Space now. So you figure out everything. You go up to the control room, you teleport there, and then you guys need to figure out what to do with Karis, who was a human. He slowly augmented himself into being an animatronic, essentially, and then Chapek started to hack into him and make him destroy attractions so that it could bring about management noticing the problems with maintenance and they could fix them. That was the ultimate goal, but it was misconstrued and everyone thought he was trying to destroy things, or at least that's what I tried to say through that. Yeah, Adam said the governor was male in his script. I just had too many dude characters, wanted to try something different.
Yeah.
And then he says the hacker's name is Bob, and you guys go, okay, we need to figure out who this hack Bob is. And I know you meant to say hacker, but it just worked so well. You decide that you would upload the ghost of Skip Lewis, which was the funniest thing because I just had to improvise a Skip Lewis voice. I tried to see if Nathan was on because I would have brought him in and had him just improvise on the spot, but he was busy. I did get him to do that little bit during the end credits, though, where he's like, now that I'm in this computer, which was so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
And then they give David a script and they say, you need to say this so that other adventurers in the past can go and help. And then that's the video that I filmed that got played on News Tonight, where I'm like, hey guys, RPG characters need your help. Go to the website, solve the puzzles. I just liked having to wrap that all up through a time travel thing.
That was so good.
Yeah, that was a fun episode. I think there was a lot in that episode. There was so much happening.
Yeah. There was, and it didn't help that we were kind of like in that episode, there was a lot of us that were new to playing. So there was a lot of like, we don't know what to do. What should we do? Like, yeah, for sure. Took a little long, but it was fun.
What's her name? Oh God, there's so much in this episode. I'm
Emma
trying
Target?
to wrap this up. We have 2 more things. Yes, Emma Target is watching the outside. There's the balcony of Carousel of Progress has as a social media blogger event happening outside of it, and it'll be done at 8 p.m. as if to signify come back here at 8 p.m. Pete blows baby powder in her face again, and then you guys go, let's go into the party. And I went, what? Okay. Except everyone at the party notices that you blew baby powder in her face. Then I think you guys say, we're an improv group. And then everyone claps because they think it's a show. Yeah. Which is a joke I wrote into a script for a show I did like 3 years ago, which is, we told them we were an improv group. People will believe anything. And then you actually said that. That was so funny.
Good.
But yeah, you just antagonized Emma Target yet again, and she doesn't remember who Pete was. I think, Pete flirts with her, and she gives Pete her phone number, and then he blows baby powder in her face again. Anyways, we get up to the Jungle Cruise catastrophe. This is the penultimate episode. We had Matthew, Nick, Jilly, and Eric. You were on this one. So their final piece of the robo detector is here. Skipper Lucy from the original non-canonical adventures, which makes no sense how you know her, it said she had hidden it in the temple. So you go into Zanzibar Trading Co., but Ben is not there. It's because he got kidnapped. You guys, when you get on the... I'm trying to figure out which one of these 3 clips to watch. We are getting near the end. They're all pretty short. So you get on the Jungle Cruise. Skipper Snooty is now nice because you decided to rescue him instead of kill him in the original adventures. Skipper Pat is still drunk, and everyone in the chat was wondering why Albert AWOL was not an NPC, so I threw something in there last minute. I knew that the final boss would not be, what's her name? I forget her character name, the bad guy. Luella Divine. It would not be her. It would be some bigger entity. Luella Divine would get crushed by the bigger entity because she was trying to destroy the jungle. Which ended up being, and I was like, what is like a merman or a merman but is actually like a spirit? And then I found out what an Adaro is, which is a water spirit. I forget what, I think it was like an Incan or an Aztec kind of character. Not character, like a spirit that they believed in. So I was like, I'm going to set this up, that there's a way to calm this spirit, and there's also a way to anger it. So I started leaving those hints. Then I put in the Tweedle Skippers, who were also animatronics. My favorite joke that I put in there was, I'm Skipper D, and this is Skipper Dumb. We may be a lot, but we're tons of fun. What did I tell you about rhyming? Do it? That's right. Which is a dumb joke from an SNL sketch nobody's seen, which is, what did I tell you about this? You told me to do it. Yeah, that's right. But they were like kind of suspicious. You guys run into the Hop, Skip, and Jump Shop, which is a play on Skipper, Jungle Cruise Skipper, but also Hop, Skip, and a Jump. And we see Tully again. So let's play the clip, episode 6, clip 2, Tully again.
Wait, I have an idea. Tully, if I may, you said your nose was very acute.
Yes.
Get me the shirt.
It is a very cute nose. Thank you.
Oh,
get me the Ben shirt. Yeah. Get me the Ben shirt. Tully, smell this, and tell me what direction.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna smell it. Here we go. I'm gonna smell it. I'm gonna smell it for you. Okay. Here we go. Okay. I smelled it. That didn't smell good. Now what? What do you want me to do with this information?
Where can you smell it? Can you find out where he went?
I mean, okay. I figured we were doing that, but you didn't tell me. You were just like, here, smell this. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll smell this weird thing that you just put in front of me. I thought we were just like buds and, you didn't really give me
Tully, I was assuming you were following my logic. Yes, is the scent anywhere else?
Let me think. I'm thinking. Oh my God, what are these? Does anyone else see the floating question marks? Okay, I'm gonna stop thinking.
You're thinking.
That's better. Hang on, I'm gonna think about something. Oh my God, what are those? Okay. It smells like they came from, or it goes towards that direction. Let me just, I point that way.
With your eye?
Right.
That way.
That direction.
That way. Okay.
Oh, thank you, Tully.
That was my favorite bit. They're like, smell this. He's like, okay, now what? And they're like, tell us where it is. But also, that was my first time putting him in a different outfit and with the skipper hat. And I love that design. I need to find and
so good.
It looks so great like that. The skippers reveal that they are Spaceship Earth animatronics. One of them goes, I'm from that ancient Rome scene, and I'm the guy that's stamping papyrus. Which is just, I don't know why he's my favorite character. Just the tunk, tunk, tunk on that ride. It's so repetitive. So they go to the temple, and she's not there, and then it turns out that it was stolen by, what's her name? She has tied up Ben, but because you guys earlier found Ben's shirt, Ben just assumed that he would be shirtless. So after Luella is destroyed by the Adaro, and then you calm the Adaro, let's play. It's a short clip. Play episode 6, clip 3. Ben shirtless.
Ben shirtless.
Oh, it's muted. Dude, it's muted. I don't know if you can hear me. No, not you, Tom. The video clip that's being played isn't muted.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Let's do that again. That's a short clip. That's a short clip. We can do it again there.
Please stop.
Oh, can I have a shirt? Please?
Oh, Ben, I actually
We have the
your
spare shirt.
Here's your WDWNT t-shirt.
Thank you. Hold on.
This brings me back.
What?
Hey, it's after 11, you know.
Whoa. Hang on. What?
Just shirtless men.
I mean, you cut my shirt off.
I was trying to cut the ropes, Ben. I am very sorry.
It happens. I'm just
glad you're okay.
my
We were worried
shirt?
sick about you.
You had my shirt?
Yes, we.
That was my favorite thing. Jilly was, I think, she had never done an RPG before, so she wasn't saying a lot during the game, but this brings me back. Brings you back to what? Just shirtless men. That also says so much about her character of Nellie Lesor, I think it was. I loved that bit so much. I wish her like thirsty character was in the game more. Anyways, you guys get the third piece of the robo detector. You get back to the dock, and it turns out that you now have everything. And then we get to Endgame, which is the final episode of the show. I knew that any bits or gags I wanted to do, I would have to shove into here. The map game had been over for a while. So when it came time to doing this, I'm like, what is a good gag that I can do? And I was like, because this robo detector was like robot found, I was like, what if I switched it up so it started and it was like out of battery or out of range, and then it was like, we need to do a puzzle with this now. We need to find a way to get to higher ground. And then you guys could have got to ground anyway. And then I was like, okay. And then how can I make this even funnier? How is the robo detector going to tell you where to go? And I'm like, oh my God, the map game. And then it should be the entire property, and there's so many squares. And except that Nick brought back the map game during the marathon show earlier, so I'm like, that ruins the joke, but I think the joke still worked because it was this long zoom. You know what? Let's just play the clip. Can you play episode 8, clip number 1, map game?
Map game.
Oh no! It looks like we have to lock onto the coordinates by using this outdated map-related program. David says, if I recall correctly, we have to pick a single coordinate and then see how strong the signal is. With each coordinate, we can figure out if we're getting closer or further away. Orange. So remember, red, orange, yellow. Wait. Red, orange, yellow, green.
Red, orange, yellow, green. H1?
N1?
H1? Well, N1 is so far out of the scanner that it's blurry. H1 is orange. That's red.
G3.
Oh my God. Okay. G3? That's it. It's green. We figured it out.
Oh, yes.
I know there's no need, but I'm just going to point out, we got red, and then we got orange, and then we got yellow. Okay, but anyways. No one knew how to play that, and it was so frustrating. I thought
no one knows
this
how to
is my
play the
chance to
map
ask.
game, you know, like...
Chat, did I explain how to play that properly? Did the whole red, orange, yellow, green make sense? Or did I just make, like, did it sound more complicated? Because I'd be like, I'd be like, red. Okay, that's right on the edge. So you'd think they moved closer, but then you're like, A3. And I'm like, that's off the map. And I'm like, are they doing it just to be funny? I can't tell. And then I'm like, orange, that's closer. And then you guys go far away again. I'm like, if this one's red and this one's orange, you need to get to green. It was so frustrating. And that's why at the end I'm like, okay guys, red, it's like a target. It's red, orange, yellow. I also had to figure out how the map game works, which was very complicated. So then you figure out it's Epcot. You get into Epcot. You do a little puzzle there. You get into jail. You get knocked out by Emma Target, who throws you in jail, and Tubbs is the guard. I had to get Tubbs in there somewhere, and the idea that Tubbs was the dog in Pirates with the key in his mouth was so great. If you can bring up that image, because I think we just need more Tubbs. That was my favorite gag. Also in the background, do not feed the prisoners with authorization. That was also my favorite bit. I got Thomas Kiernan, who's my partner and also the co-host of Ride Rehab podcast and the host of the Entropy Machine RPG. I always asked him to do the artwork, and he knew exactly what I needed, and then add little touches like that. Matthew convinces Tubbs to let them out by explaining everything that's happened up until that point in GOAT. And Matthew rolled performance, and he got it. And I think it was a 20. It was a natural 20. So, but then and then I'm like, oh, you fail because it had to be within 1 to 12. And he's like, but I rolled a 20. So the next season of RPG, I'm just going to make it that 20 is good and 0 is bad. I'm going to rewrite it. And yeah, he goes, ba, 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 ba. And it was, I don't have that highlight, but that was amazing. Cameron Norman leaves you into the server room where he says that this server, the old one, is just where the data is stored, but the console is in studios. So, which was when the whole internet thing was set up in 1989. I actually looked up when the internet started, and it was the Hypertext Transfer Protocol, or HTTP, which is what you type in your browser, is what the internet is, and that started in 1990. So it made sense that studios, which opened in 1989, would start to implement the internet into it. So that was where I also wanted you guys to park hop. You had never been to studios, really. Then it turned out Chapek was a robot, which Chapek actually is the name of the people who coined the phrase robot. I think it was Carl and Josef Chapek. So I just included all of those cool things. I didn't want it to look like Bob Chapek, but then I added the bit that Bob Chapek made this computer in his own image later on. Like Chapek was just a series of letters, but he had scratched out the little dots in between so it would spell Chapek instead. But yeah, he goes, we're not enemies. I'm just doing this because of an algorithm, and if you need to shut me down, I totally get it. And then you guys had a moral dilemma, which was lovely, because you saved him onto a USB, or you saved it. I shouldn't say he. You saved it onto a USB so that you can like do whatever you need to it later, or just try and fix it. If you had chosen to make a new algorithm, I would have asked you like, what should I ignore? Should I ignore Twitter? Mm-hmm. Should I ignore this site called WDWNT? Should I start including feeds from Disney Food Blog? Like it would have been a whole funny thing. And then if you had chosen to go back in time to 1989, you would have been able to encounter Michael Eisner. I wrote a whole bit because I expected you guys, I had set up that you couldn't change the past. but you guys had previously gone back in time. So I had set up, I'm like, if they do want to go back in time, I should pre-write it, but I should also kind of insist that you cannot change the past. Which is why Dr. Seeker showed up to save you in a monorail earlier, to remind you that Dr. Seeker and his time rovers exist. But yeah, it would have been a small bit. You would have just had to explain what the computer was and everything like that. But anyways, I loved at the end insinuating that Kermit the Frog, Dr. Seeker, Dreamfinder, Figment, Ben, Gladys, Cameron, Ermin, Tully, the Tiki Room Birds, the Governor, Karis, and Skipper David were all there. Like all of you guys did a really good job of being nice. You didn't intentionally do evil things. I mean, other than accidentally murdering what's his name? I forget his name already. There's too many characters. The Western guy from Frontierland. Other than accidentally murdering him, you guys were Nathaniel Devine. You guys did such a good job of being good that you made a lot of friends, and you were nice to people. Like you were so nice to Gladys, and you gave her a gift and everything. I was really happy that at the end there were so many characters there to help you, and which is why, like, at the end of that episode, before you went to Epcot, they were like, okay, well, here's, if you need us Tiki Room Birds, we can help. Hey, if you need help from Ace, you can always just call us. Hey, if you need a ride there, I'm Gladys, I can help. Like, you could have spurned like Gladys off or something. Like, there was a ton of things you could do. But, and then I'd Skip Lewis say, ha cha cha, while I'm in this computer, I might as well look at the internet. Whoa, this place is full of games and knockers. And then I drew him as a ghost. That was so much fun. Anyways, we're coming to the end now. We talked enough about Haunted Mansion before. There was a lot of fun stuff in there, but maybe I'll upload all these highlights as like its own video, just so everyone can watch and enjoy an hour worth of this. But I would like to ask the chat, or Wolf, if you have any questions about the RPG, like, get them out now. We've been talking about this for 2 hours. Do you guys have any questions? What it was like making it? Anything that we could have or shouldn't have done, or just like what might happen in the next season or anything like that? I'll answer as whatever I can. But yeah, should we play the season 2 trailer since we're here and I'm waiting for people to ask questions? Yeah, play the trailer for season 2.
Trailer
for what's next.
Let's do it.
Dear Freelance Adventure Company, I'm sorry that our previous interaction was so poorly received. However, something is happening in the park and we need your help. There is a rift opening that could spell disaster across both land and sea. You might be the only ones I can trust. Many technical and supernatural obstacles may stand in your way, but it's nothing you can't face together. Please come as soon as possible. Signed, Camellia Falco.
I'm so excited for this.
I'm
so excited for this one. I've written so much stuff. I bugged Spencer for about 2 hours one day. I was just in Google Maps looking at Tokyo, and I'm just like, I'm asking all these questions, and the Disney wiki for Tokyo Disney Sea explains like all the lore. So I was coming up with like all the different character interactions and stuff. So let me just get to these questions. Any hints as to season 2? Everything you just saw in the trailer, it's going to be, there's some kind of rift, and it's taking place at Tokyo Disney Sea. How many? Adam wrote a ton of other stories, and he's like, and he's like, feel free to use these. And then when I announced that this would be the next season, he gave me even more stuff and how it can work. I'm probably going to use a lot of it because there is some really good stuff in there and a lot of really cool puzzles. Will the RPG ever go to Universal? I just asked somebody about that because someone was like, we can write and DM our own RPGs? And I'm like, yes. And if anyone wants to do a Universal one, UPNT The RPG, I would be so happy to do that. I don't know a lot about the Universal parks is the problem, but I know there's like Islands of Adventure. I think it would be perfect to set that in because there's just so much stuff happening around that park, but also the entryway and there's like an adventure themed restaurant that became I think like an off the mask area. That one restaurant had so many details and stuff in it. I'm like, you could do a whole RPG there. I just need somebody else to handle writing it because I do not know enough about the characters and lore and stuff.
Yeah.
Is the rift?
But it's funny. Yeah, it's funny that someone asked that. Because like when you were like, hey, does anyone want to write this? I was like, I think I would really like to. I just don't know how. And then Tyler like gave us like a whole outline of how he writes his stuff, and I was like, So, never say never.
Yeah,
it could happen.
I would love that to happen. What's the next question? Well, the RP, your accent is getting better. No, that was Jilly playing Camellia Falco. And I already have like that was the other thing. I was like, oh, I now made Camellia Falco the one who talks to them. But I think I came up with a fun new character who's like adjacent to Skipper David, who would be a good character. He is related to Camellia Falco, and that's the character that I would play as like the host. So I can't wait for everyone to see that. It's going to be really fun. How are the graphics for the background characters coming? Because you did say Ace would be a drawing. I haven't started doing anything for Tokyo Rift. I don't know if a character like Ace would have a cameo in it. I'll see. I mean, I guess he's in Star Tours in Disneyland, Tokyo Disneyland. I don't know if I'm going to do stuff at both those parks, but we'll see. Is the rift over land and sea referring to Disneyland and Disney Sea? Yes, that was the main idea of that line in the trailer, was that it was just before you actually got the reveal that it was going to be a Disney Sea, you would hear land and sea, and then you'd maybe put together that it was going to be Tokyo. That way it would be fun when it actually is revealed that it's Tokyo. Is Scott coming back for another episode? I would love for Scott to be in another episode. He is very much a gaming person and a D&D type person, so I would love to have him back. I'll have to ask.
I can't say if you guys really want to see Scott is going to be coming back for something. So keep your eyes out here on the entertainment channel because Scott will be popping in and out for some stuff. So
will Shandu be there? Of course. The Tokyo Rift is going to take place in the entire park. They're not going to be bound by one adventure at a time. It's going to be a completely open map. So that's why this is taking so long. I'm pre-writing everything that's going to happen so that if they say we want to go here, I would just have it ready. Instead of being like, here is your adventure this week, guys. But yeah. What else do we got? Some people are saying goodbye because they are going off for the night. So good night. Thank you for watching with us. I think good idea would be having J. Jonah Jameson hire the team. That would be really funny. Someone said Muppets. I have a Muppets thing planned as a one shot. I don't know what it is when that will be. I can tell you that it is going to be kind of reminiscent of the first movie where they need to make a lot of money really quick. So that is what it's going to be.
That's so fun.
Volcano Bay has a whole backstory. Yeah, there's a lot. Is Falco's theme song Rock Me Amadeus? I don't know how to answer that question. Spencer's here and says, well, I get a credit for all the research I'm helping you with. I can confirm that instead of Ben, The shopkeep across all of Tokyo Disney Sea will be a character named Spencer.
Hey.
So that is how Spencer is going to be credited in the show. And yes, Spencer's obviously going to get a credit with writing because he's listening to me rant all the time and coming up with. I'm like, I told Spencer the entire plot, including what the ending would be, and he's just like, cool. Adam says, do you have an estimated release for the season 1 scripts? This is something I'm trying to talk to Rob about, because I would really love to be able to package these adventures up, but I don't want to just make it a PDF. I was really thinking about doing an actual box you would get that has prints of all the artwork and maybe like maps and stuff. Maybe a set of dice that you and everyone else can use. I would really love that to be a physical piece of merchandise that you guys can buy, or a print and play PDF that you can, if you want to just print it off. But I think it would be really fun, and I personally would love to have a physical boxed version of that game. It would just take a lot of work, because everything that I've written so far is just what was our adventure. And even though DMs do need to improvise on the fly, I would also need to make sure that there are other options that you can run off of. How many core bucks would that cost? I have no idea. I'm not an RPG person, says Spencer, so no spoilers from me. Yeah, good. Please don't spoil anything. Everyone is like, what's going to happen? What's the plot? And I'm like, just wait. Why do you want to have it ruined for yourself? Just enjoy the surprise that I'm presenting you with.
I'm coming up with a new character.
I was going to say, everyone needs to have, if you're going to have a new character, like, I would love for everyone to be different characters, but if someone does want to return as a same character who can talk about their past experiences, that would be fun. All I can say is that it's going to be great. I'm writing like a timeline, basically, like, you know how games have day and night cycles? This one is going to kind of have, it's going to maybe have something similar to that, where stuff is going to happen on a kind of timeline, which I think could be really interesting given the lore around certain attractions happening at certain dates that stuff would like coincide. I'm fine with waiting. I hate spoilers. See, I will watch a movie and then like look at the Wikipedia while the movie is happening just so I know how the ending goes. But that's for movies I don't care. That's for movies I don't care about, and I just want to know how it ends. Anyways, any chance of a prize wall item? Any chance of a prize wall item being a guest star on the RPG? I don't know what that means. If you're asking about Gelatoni, yes, Gelatoni is going to be in it.
No, I think they mean like if they trade in, let's say, 2,000 core bucks.
Like if you want to be on the show. I'll have to think about that.
1 million core bucks.
In the past, we have had some trouble with bringing people onto programming, especially with stuff like, you know, the call-ins, people like phoning in, and then we can't filter what they say. And also just, you know, bringing people on, it just means like, why are we giving precedence to certain people? And I've been a part of that, and I've realized that that's not a good way to go, because a lot of people are certainly interested in being on some of our programs, but yeah, we'll see. He says about maybe being a background character. Oh, like you would be an NPC in the game played by me. That could be interesting. I might be okay with that. 1 million core bucks. But I'm very excited. There's so much stuff I'm just excited about this in general. This is me and Spencer's baby, this show. And I was sort of just really given, no one told me what to do with it. It was just like, you're the showrunner, have fun. So I made Captain Gore gay, you know, whatever I wanted to do. So I'm just happy that I could do that stuff. And I'm really happy that everyone in the chat right now who have given super chats or wants to buy a physical version or download a version so they could play it themselves, then that just makes me so happy, because it's rare for me to have a story and just have everything. This whole plot line came to me because I'm like, I want it to be set at Tokyo. What should it be called? What's a pun on Tokyo? I guess there's that movie Tokyo Rift, and then the whole plot line came to me, which is very rare. Like, only a few times have I ever like thought up something and then I formed the entire idea like in 10 minutes while I'm in the shower. I'm just like, Tokyo Rift, and then I like immediately like. I'm also doing so much research on s.e.a. and all of its characters, and there's a lot there. There's so much that spans multiple parks. So I'm trying to include as much of that as possible. By the end of this, I will have like a complete knowledge of Tokyo and also s.e.a. How many narratives? I don't know. It's going to be weekly, and it'll go until the story's done. I would love there also to be one consistent cast. I know some people can't always commit to an RPG every week, but it might just be like you play for an hour or an hour and a half every week. You're like, it's not going to be individual adventures. Does Thomas help you write for the RPG? No, Tom writes his own RPG. If you want to go take a look, it's a Disney-themed RPG. It's set in the post-apocalypse where Disney owns everything, and it's called The Entropy Machine. If you like me, and if you like Ben, we are both players on that show. So go take a look at that. It's called The Entropy Machine. Find it on YouTube or wherever you download podcasts. It's really good, and it's really fun, and it's also very Disney parks. Anyone want to drop a Galaxy's Edge RPG? Sorry, I am so not interested in Star Wars at all. We need more sci-fi? Yeah, we do. Port Discovery has a lot of sci-fi stuff in it, so that'll be a lot of fun too. All right, well, I think it's just about time to wrap this up. We've been going for 2 hours and 13 minutes. Thank you to everyone for watching. But let's just end this with the teaser trailer for Honey Heist, which is tomorrow. Brand new RPG episode. Alicia is DMing. We got myself, we got Wolf, we got Nick, we got Charlie, we got Shannon of Picky Eaters. It's going to be a fun episode. I know very little what's going to happen or what we're going to do. We all know our characters, and you can. I'm going to have to do a voice the entirety of the show, so that'll be fun.
Yep, I'm already trying to pick one.
Yeah. Well, you have a little. You might have a little bit of leeway what your voice could sound like. I feel like I'm kind of tied to the character that I'm playing, who has a known voice.
Definitely.
Well, thank you, Eric, for being here with me, reminiscing with the RPG, and I'm very excited for everyone to watch the show tomorrow. The show is going to be at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. tomorrow night. You will see another community post on the YouTube, and also after this video, you should be directed right over there. So set a reminder. And if you're watching this live right now, or if you're watching it later, please give this video a like. It lets other people know that a show like this exists and that you actually enjoy it, and more people can find this unique Disney RPG. So give a like, subscribe, hit the bell notification so that you will be notified when we go live tomorrow. Is there a ride rehab tomorrow? No. There are 2 ride rehabs next week, and the week after, we're watching Cinderella Bration finally, and then we're doing a whole episode of all the movies at Wonders of Life. That's the 2 rides and the 1 Making of Me film. So a lot happening. Please hit subscribe. Enjoy everything. And if you're not a WIGS member, go to patreon.com/WDWNT, where you can become a WIG, WDWNT Interglobe Society supporter, and you get all of these other shows, including Ride Rehab Watches, which we're doing twice this month and every other month after this. So yes, thank you so much. I had to get all of that out of the way. Enjoy. Thank you so much to the people who super chatted. We appreciate that so much, that you like the show so much. How much more can I ramble? We're done. We're done. Let's play the trailer for the Honey Heist, and then that'll be the end of the show. Thank you so much. Have a great night, everyone.
Honey Heist.
Okay, fellas, here's the scheme. Brer Bear has stolen the entire supply of honey from the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh. It's our job to get it back. And that's why we are planning the biggest honey heist the Magic Kingdom has ever seen. I'm talking disguises. I'm talking perimeter checks. I'm talking stealth and avoiding security. And there's only one thing holding us all back. We are all bears. Oh!